Hi, everyone. I am Sam Willerat. I'm sorry I could not make the meeting today. It's a little bit early for me. So Lily offered to record me. I am finishing up my MLAS degree, my Library and Information Science degree, in May 2021. And I'm currently applying for some library jobs at universities and at the government. So in the future, I'm going to advocate for open science by helping researchers adopt open science principles and to help them navigate this new open science, open access world that we're hopefully all moving towards. So I hope to, yeah, assist other researchers. And then when I do research, I will apply the principles myself as well. I learned so much this past year during the fellowship. Obviously, learned how to use the frictionless data tools. I also learned how to use GitHub for the first time, which was very fun. And then more generally, I feel that the fellowship gave me an opportunity to move more from like understanding the theory of open science to actually practice it. And so now I feel like I have a much better understanding of the challenges that people have when they try to adopt open science. So I think that'll really help me advocate for it in the future. So thank you so much for the opportunity this past year. I'll always treasure it, and I hope to keep in contact with all of you.
All right, that was Sam. And next, I'm going to pick on Kate.
Hi, I'm Kate. I live in Portland, Oregon, so it's early here. And I am a fourth year PhD student in biomedical engineering at Oregon Health and Science University. It's actually where Lily did her PhD. And my focus is I study the gut microbiome and the urinary microbiome in men with prostate cancer. So I deal with a ton of data, and it's a lot of genomics data. So I've been learning how to use the frictionless tools with that type of data and so much. And it's been a little challenging, but it seems like a lot of people are doing the same thing. So that's been a really great experience. So coming into the fellowship, I didn't know that much about open science. I kind of vaguely knew that we should all try and make sure that our research is reproducible and that others can reuse it. However, I didn't actually know how complicated that can be. So once I started kind of getting more into the details and the actual practice of it, I learned about how it can be really sticky and difficult. But I think there's a lot of really interesting work in that space. And I'm only in my fourth year of my PhD, and it's, I think, going to be a little bit of a longer program. So I think for the remaining time of my PhD, I'm really interested in trying to utilize like the frictionless tools and learn more about the open science community and keep engaging in various events. I just want to share the most, I think, rewarding thing that I did with the fellowship is me, Anne, and Evelyn, who are also here. We hosted an open data day event on, I think it was March 6th. And that was, I think, incredibly rewarding and interesting. We came up with some really great speakers and got a lot of people engaged. So that was, I don't know, something that I'll remember for a very long time. Yeah, so I think I'll pass it on to the next person. Lily, should I choose someone? Okay, cool. I'm gonna choose Donnie because I know he's still going on a bus soon or a train soon.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad that you remember actually, but yeah, I had to fly in 10 minutes because I have to catch a train. But yeah, I'm Danny, and I've been doing research on brain imaging for a few years now, but very recently I moved out of the academic career path, and I'm still going to be involved in doing research, but this time more into industry, let's say, as a biostatistician in a company that conducts research on cancer. And well, the other day we were chatting a bit about what the fellowship has meant to each one of us. And I would like to say that I wanted to emphasize how much it made me feel way more confident and more comfortable about joining open science communities, because I was already familiar with many of the topics on open science, but I had always been very reluctant and very even scared about collaborating with other people and joining an open source project, for example. And yeah, I always assumed that that was meant for other people that knew more than me and that I didn't have any contribution to make. But yeah, this has changed a lot over the past 9 months that the fellowship lasts. And yeah, now that my work is gonna focus specifically and almost exclusively on data management and analysis in this field of clinical trials, I intend to use the frictionless data tools to help me create a more structured framework, so I can aim for like more transparency and being more accountable in the way I deal with this very sensitive information about patients. So yeah, I think it was actually like a super nice experience for me joining the fellows, and that not only I learned about like many technical aspects as well, but also for me the most important thing was like kind of like taking the leap and feeling like joining a community of people that are actually really nice and that are really looking forward to embrace other people joining. So maybe I can throw it now to Anne.
Hi, everyone. And Danny, safe travels in a bit. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Anne. I'm based in Geneva, Switzerland, but I'm actually from the US. I am a little bit of an outlier, I guess, in the group, and very much felt like an imposter because I'm actually an anthropology and sociology student at the Graduate Institute here in Geneva, which is an IR and development studies sort of school. And weirdly enough, the fellowship has actually radically changed my direction in a lot of ways. So I actually focus, a lot of my research has kind of organically started focusing on open source communities and crowdsourcing. And it's funny to see people actually hear from HUT and Youth Mappers, because that whole universe of OpenStreetMap is actually the like source of my research and the people that I've talked to. And so I guess also in another life, I was a data journalist and kind of a more of a visual storyteller. And so that very much informed my original interest and very much learning the technical tools that ultimately kind of changed into my interest in like this whole universe of openness. And so I guess if there's anything that I've learned over the past year, it's actually how fragile these communities are, and how, you know, the backbone of the internet in a lot of ways are open source communities. And I had no idea when I first started, and I had no idea the type of debates and conversations and negotiations that were happening in an idea like open knowledge that I'd always viewed as kind of unchanging or even universal in a way. Yeah, and so it's been amazing to be a part of this like interdisciplinary group, to learn so much from everyone else. And in the future, I'll probably be heading more towards the translation side of things, trying to bridge the gap between these different disciplines to help maybe use language and storytelling, data journalism to kind of, I think, apply frictionless tools in real time, but also talk about the underlying kind of idea behind this, which is essentially the importance of making information more accessible and easier to share between different parties and different groups. So yeah, that got a little bit more philosophical, but it's definitely had echoes across everything else that I do now. I'm gonna nominate, how about Evelyn?
Thank you, Anne. My name is Evelyn Knight Okello. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. I'm a master's candidate from the University of Nairobi, and I'm conducting my practical work. I've actually finished at the International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology based in Nairobi, Kenya. My focus is just the interplay between insects and their role in agriculture. So I've been looking at the phenotypic and genetic diversity of some pollinators associated with avocado orchards. And I'm just completing my master's, and that means submission in the next 1 or 2 weeks. I'm also applying for PhD scholarships, and what the role of open science comes in because at the moment, when I started the program, I actually didn't know that the open science, open data movement was such a big thing, because over here, people are just focusing on, the traditional science. People are not focusing on the new things that are happening out there. And then there are people who have these ideas that open science is, expensive in the long run. People are still holding on into the traditions, and it's actually quite unexplored compared to the rest of the world. So during my fellowship, I've had the interactions, got to know even GitHub for the first time, and kind of got used to playing around with GitHub and Python. And that was a scary experience at first, but it's been enjoyable in the end, thanks to Lily. Going forward, already I've started talking to my fellow students, and I've given a presentation about open science where I also collaborated with one person from Open Science Kenya. That's the movement that's like promoting open science in the country. And we gave a very nice presentations, and we were told that, next we should go again and now teach them the tools and like talk more about, have the conversations around open data and open science. And that was really encouraging. So I'm really looking forward to having more conversations, organizing more workshops in the universities and the schools that are around, and even let students know, the ones that are in the universities and the ones that are in even high schools, that there's something around here that's really important and that we should really focus on and invest in. For my PhD, I'm now going to be more data smart because my master's was really messed up. And yeah, I'm going to now apply the frictionless tools. I'm going to document my data, have the metadata. I can't really wait to start working. And I'm really grateful that the frictionless debugged the whole thing about data for me. So it was really a great experience getting to know the fellows, getting to share some jokes in Slack. And I'm really looking forward not to like disband this group and maybe just continue like that, meet a few times, have conversations, discuss transparency and open science legalities and the gray areas around it. And yeah, I'm also grateful for the whole frictionless fraternity. I've met Sarah once or twice, and been in the community calls once or twice. And I really appreciate those sessions where somebody talks about a software I didn't know existed. And I'll still be here in the Hangouts, and I'm hoping to learn more. Thank you. That was quite long. I nominate Katerina.
Hi everyone. My name is Katerina. I'm based in Athens, Greece, and I'm finishing my PhD here at the University of Athens. I was going to say that I don't have a background in programming, but lots of us don't. So I'm not that special after all. My background is in the humanities and clinical sciences. So I'm a linguist and a speech therapist. And my research focuses on language, cognitive, and music skills in preschoolers. I applied for the fellowship at first because I felt like I didn't have the opportunity to gain any practical digital skills when I was in my undergrad or my postgrad studies. And I knew about open science and the reproducibility crisis by being in the area of psychology in general. So I knew that there was a crisis going on. But then when I was accepted into the program, I saw issues in reproducibility in my own research as well. So I think that the whole fellowship has helped me to have a better research workflow and possibly a reproducible workflow, and to maybe pass on these values to other researchers as well. I became very passionate with helping others from the humanities gaining more digital skills. And I've founded, with Lily's help, a chapter in Athens of Pi Ladies, empowering women to learn Python. So I'm hoping to help undergrads from the humanities to gain more digital skills and, maybe get a job somewhere else. Yeah, so that's me, I think. Jacqueline, I think you're the last one.
Yes, I think so. I just want to say that I've been hearing everybody talk about their work for 9 months, and it's still just a joy and so great to hear from all of the fellows. So my name's Jacqueline, and I'm finishing my master's in computer science. I'm currently based in New York City in the United States. And I joined the fellows program because I knew enough to know that open science was important to me, and that I felt like it was an emergency for me to learn more. But that's about it. I mean, my actual practical knowledge of it was really limited. I just knew that I needed to know more. And so because my baseline was low, I feel like I've grown so much over the last 9 months. I was really looking particularly for a sense of community around it too, and to build my language around it so that I could make persuasive arguments when I'm advocating for it in my workplace and in my publications when I'm advocating for it. And also so that I can be a more responsible researcher. And I feel like I accomplished all of those goals. And I've really loved the sense of community. And I definitely intend to maintain a sense of community around open source and open science and open access. And I am really excited to implement the frictionless tools in some of my upcoming publications that I have coming out. I'm data packaging as we speak for some publications. And yeah, also I'll be starting my PhD in computer science in the fall. And I really do feel strongly that this fellowship helped prepare me to be more responsible in my PhD, but also to even get some of the opportunities I had, like some of the fellowships I've been offered. I feel very strongly that this fellowship prepared me for those. And I'm just so grateful, and very grateful for Lily too, in particular, for being such a good captain of the ship all these months. So thank you so much for this opportunity.